Welcome to the second rally to reclaim Australia, North Queensland. Our next rally will be Australia Day 2016, so please note that one down in your diary as we plan on making it a great family day for all. Before I start, I have an apology to make on behalf of Pauline Hanson, who would have loved to have been here to address you herself. However, she had prior arrangements in Rockhampton with the rally there, but she did ask that I pass on her regards and she wishes us well. I'd like to also thank Mike Holt from Restore Australia, who has kindly allowed me to reproduce some of his documentation for distribution here today, which can be found up in the tent. So where to from here? As the song says, from little things, big things grow. Clearly, the last round of rallies not only had the media sitting up and taking notice, but a large part of Australia were also witness to our campaign and our passion to not only educate Aussies as to the real threat Islam imposes to our Western democracy and Aussie way of life, with its religiously sanctioned physical and sexual abuse of women and children, public floggings, beheadings, stonings, hangings, female genital mutilation, mind and community control, honour killings and many more vile practices. But it was to further bring to the attention of politicians what the vast majority of Aussies, both privately and publicly, that they don't want this ideology here. What other group of people can promote the crimes against humanity that I've just mentioned and get away with it? Time and time again, people are voicing their opinion and despair at the rate at which Islam and its radical influence is affecting our country. Sadly, though, there are a large number of people who are scared to speak out publicly for fear of reprisals, not only from Muslims, but those left-wing loonies who scream racist at anyone for daring to have any kind of adverse opinion about Islam. I recently had a conversation with a business owner here in Townsville who told me he and his wife would love to fly an Australian flag at the front of their house, but they are so scared of reprisals from Muslims that they won't. They also have 2 dogs. They also fear that because Muslims hate dogs, that by flying a flag, their animals would become victims of a bait. What have we come to when in our own country, our own people are scared to show their national pride by flying a flag in their own front yard? Would this have happened 30 years ago? 20 years ago? Absolutely not. But because of the influx of a violent and backward ideology and all the ridiculous political correctness that protects it, it's happening. Political correctness, which is fostered by the socialists, Agenda 21 supporters and advocates, have killed personal opinion. It's killed robust, healthy debate, and it's robbing us of our Aussie identity. We are brainwashed and preoccupied to not cause offence, and in playing along with this ridiculous idea, we are paving the way to be bullied and walked all over by Muslims who are slowly forcing their beliefs and their life choices on the rest of us. Because we are so accommodating to this political ideology, we are facing a tsunami of crime and violence as Muslims grow in number, as they are in Europe and the UK as we speak. Life in Townsville might be okay for the time being, but Townsville is not an island. I was at a Sydney car auction in Lakemba 24 years ago. It was complete culture shock for me even back then, as almost every one of the hundreds of faces there were Middle Eastern men. I remember thinking even back then that if I didn't know any better, I'd be hard-pressed believing I was in Australia. What's it like now? Ask any Sydney-sider. Now in just one lifetime we hear of the stories that come out of Sydney. The Lint Cafe siege, the Cronulla riots, the Muslim ghettos, the terrorist plots, the Sharia-enforced zones, and the ISIS fighters and supporters being recruited right under our noses. There are Sharia-enforced zones that are actively enforced by Muslim men. These men patrol the Sharia zone, bullying people, both Muslim and non-Muslim, to conform to Sharia law. The mind just boggles. What council in its right mind would stand by and allow this to happen? Clearly the councils of Sydney are, because nothing is being done to deter, move on or penalise these self-styled Sharia police. Aussies are frozen with political correctness fear. It's time to stop playing into the hands of political correctness. We need to openly and frankly discuss the issues. We need to call a spade a spade. The more we talk about it, debate it and stand up to it, the less frozen in fear people will be. They will stop talking in whispers and behind closed doors, and slowly our people will regain the confidence, the pride and the bravado that we Aussies were once known for. Australia, start saying what needs to be said. No more halal. Do you agree? Yeah. Then say it. No more mosques. Do you agree? Yeah. Then say it. No more making concessions for Islam. Do you agree? Then say it. To further our cause and protect Australia, we need one thing, and that one thing is you. We need you to have your voices heard alongside ours. We need you to be with us as we rally to pressure the government to have Islam declared a political entity and have it stripped of its religious protection. We need you to write to your local, state and federal member voicing your disgust at how legislation protects this barbaric mindset and facilitates it by allowing it to prosper, by allowing it places of worship, by allowing it a voice. We need you to make your vote count in the future by voting for those candidates that have cultural pride and a strong sense of their Australian identity and are prepared to stand by it and make the tough decisions when it comes to Islam for the benefit of the majority of us. We need you to send the message to Islam that if it wants to take on Australia, then brace yourself, because you picked the wrong country, mate. We do things a little differently here, and it's not the Islamic way. If we keep doing politically what we've always done, we're going to keep getting what we've always got. Sign our petition in the tent. Join us today before you leave the rally and become a member of the Rally to Reclaim Australia North Queensland for just $10. Take advantage today of the performer letters I've printed up there for you that will assist you in writing to your local, state and federal members. Take action. Do something for us and Australia. Thank you.